All right, so here are the X's as we get into this, and now we're going to be talking a little bit about the run defense of this team. Well, last season they were second worst with giving up 146 yards a game. Teams just were able to have all their way with that. Saquon Barkley and Ezekiel Elliott absolutely love that those numbers were that way. Deron Payne's going to be a big part of this in stopping the run clip, stopping the run, as is Matt Ioannidis. Well, Matt was asked about the leadership of this unit.
100%. I think that Sam calls it the tip of the spear. So I think we have the ability to, the right guys in the room, to lead this team, and I'm hoping to do that come game one.
All right, so the X's are presented by Pepsi. I'm glad to have them on as a sponsor as we go through here. Talking about the run defense, like Deron Payne and Matt Ioannidis, Tim Settle, John Allen, those guys have been the strength of this team. Last season, though, Santana, if you look at the body of work, you have so much talent in that unit, but yet they were bottom of the league in giving up yards. What can we attest part of that to?
I think we can attest just communication problems. I said it before early in the week, last week, that this defense found itself in those situations time and time again. Regardless of how good those guys played at times up front, it just wasn't, hitting at home when it came to the coaching staff, and so that's why you see them at the bottom of the league like that. This year, it's not going to be one of those things that we can sit here and say it's communication problem. This staff is going to make sure these guys are aware of what they have to do, and they have enough guys to go out there and play a role in that.
A lot of times last season you would hear guys saying that they were getting the call like really way late on what they were going to do, and so then they were having to try, and you could see them trying to talk to each other and trickle it back, and by that time it was just really too late for them to be efficient at all. But even heading into last season, the defensive line was expected to be a top 5 defensive line. Heading in now, I think they're projected going into the season as maybe the 3rd best defensive line going in there, and that is because you do have these guys and that talent. As you hear Ioannidis, a lot of guys saying like they are going to be the ones that lead the team. They are going to be the strength, the reason this team will be able to get those wins and losses. If we were to kind of go and you're going to pick your top run stopper this season, who would it be?
It's easy for me to pick the guy that I know that you leaned on, and Deron Payne, but you got to think about those other guys, Ioannidis and Allen. Allen led those guys last year in tackles. But I'm going to go outside the box a little bit, and I'm going to put a guy out there who doesn't like to be in the box, Landon Collins. He led the team, I believe, with 117 tackles. And the thing I love about Landon, that he's a guy that you can really disguise and bring him up close, and he plays a valuable role in both the pass game and the run game, being in that box. So hopefully with this new defensive scheme, with these coaching staff, they're going to take advantage of what guys do best, what guys do well. And I know I can see Landon, flourishing and being one of those guys that having a great season, lining up in that box and helping those guys out.
He's a mismatch problem. I mean, he can be able to take on pretty much anybody, especially in the run. He's not afraid to be aggressive. He's not afraid to be that alpha, to go out there and hit. And you have a lot of guys that, even you were talking about, it's like, that don't want to necessarily take that on. He's one of those guys that definitely isn't. Yeah, I went Deron Payne for this one, which you would have as well, but I kind of forced Santana into picking somebody else. Like Deron Payne, this is what he prides himself on, he is stout. He loves being able to cause havoc on the runners. He looks forward to going up against Zeke and Saquon, and you know that those teams with those players can put up massive yards on you. He even had a couple of sacks in his first year. I think he had 5, and then last year it teetered off to just two sacks. But a lot of that, again, was because of the communication problems. But I know that's something as well that he kind of wanted to develop into his. He's going to be splitting time a little bit with Settle. Do you think that the rotation could impact, or is the rotation going to help them, I guess, a little bit in the run game?
Fresh bodies are always good bodies, So regardless of what time he splits with whoever it is, he's going to come in fresh. So be aware, those guys are going to be seeing a lot of them in the backfield.
Right, and you see the speed that he has as well. So hopefully this season it won't be as difficult or as easy for other teams to be able to run on them once you do get everything talking in place. You also have coming to this team Chase Young. We've talked so much about how he can go after and get the quarterback, and that's like really the sexy numbers. That's what you really bring him in for, and people want to see that flash. But what do you see him bringing in against the run?
I think one of the things that you can see is that he's going to lighten up the load for a lot of those guys, regardless of when he's on the field, he's going to have to be a guy that you pay close attention to. So, and then guys, fail to realize Chase Young wasn't, quote unquote, said to be one of the better run stoppers in college, but if you think about it, he had 21 tackles for a loss. So to me, that goes far than saying that this guy can only, do things well in the passing game or being a great rush in. But he's going to be a guy that you have to pay close attention to, so that opened the floodgates up for everybody else. We're not talking about some of the other guys as much because of Chase Young, but hey, Montez Sweat was a guy that caught on late last year, so you just be assured that he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be a valuable point, or going to make a point to say, hey, don't forget about me over here, because he's going to be showing up a lot often, knowing that you have that guy Chase Young on the other side.
I mean, Chase is getting all the attention because he's the new toy, right? Everybody wants to sit there and,
Everyone
on
likes
Christmas morning, you open up, you want to,
Everyone likes the Corvette.
And I have a feeling it's not going to wear off at all, especially as you do get to be able to see him in play and in action. But when you talk about a unit being the leader of the team, like, what is that mindset for those players, understanding that really they are the strength of this team going forward?
I mean, they have to have that mindset. I think one of the things that I can, remember about my playing days as a receiver, our receiver coach always told us the offense go as well as we go, because we have a bigger role. We have to go out there and, move the chains on, third down. We have to catch those passes. We also have a valuable role in the run game. We have to make sure that we getting our guys so the running backs can have those extra yards. So when you look at the D-line, they have a big role. They have to be able to set the D-line. They have to be able to set the defense and allow those linebackers to get off and make some of those tackles. And then when it comes to the passing game, they have to put pressure on that quarterback. So that role is valuable to the defense as a whole. And if they play well, that makes the whole defense look better.